good evening. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good afternoon. Wait a minute. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Yes, I got it right. Finally. If you're here, you're in the right place. My name is Barbara J. Beckley, and this is the Diamond Perspective Show with some wonderful, amazing, spectacular, I can see other adjectives, queens that I call them, that's going to give you their perspective on certain topics. Now, we do this every month, and just to give you a little quick, just going to open the curtain a little bit, that this particular show has been going on. We're celebrating 2.5 years. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, wow, I've been rocking with these queens for 2.5 years. See what you can do when you have more than one person collaboration together. That's a tip. Write it down because it does work. And I always, every time I express the gratitude and the honor to have these experts, these women that are just rocking and rolling in what they do in their livelihood, not just in their business, but just in their personal life and just helping humanity. Being what I always say, a lighthouse to the world. And that's who each and every of these queens are. So with that, tonight, our topic, yes, is going to be called effective time management. I know that's like the corporate like word, right? But you know what? I'm going to already put it out there for some of you to think about, because it's everything that you think about is a mindset. Everything. I don't care what it is in your life, it takes that mindset, right? And some people say mind flow, which I kind of like that better because the mindset, I always think of that little box, right? But mindset, mind flow, however you think about it. And I want you, as you're listening to the queens, as you're listening to us having this conversation about effective time management, think about, is it time management that you have to think about? Or is it people management? Or you managing your time? So is it time management really that's the problem, or the thing that you need to really study into? Or is it you? Because think about it, time can't manage itself. Aha! It takes what? It takes individuals. It takes yourself. It takes, maybe you use tech, whatever you do. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But it doesn't, time can't manage itself, but you can manage yourself. So I want you to think about that as we go along this topic. So with that said, I'm not going to keep you because I know you're waiting for the queens, because I'm waiting for them too. And we are going to start right now. Welcome to Diamond Perspective Show. Yes. Love it, love it, love it. As you can see, I love to dance. So you'll be seeing me doing some movement through the whole show. But with that said, welcome, wonderful queens on the panel tonight. You're looking beautiful. I love the hand raise. I think we're missing somebody. I'll take her down for a minute. Maybe she's working on something, but that's okay. Tech is there. Before we start, because I really want us to dig in. You know, time, as we're talking about time management, is of the essence. So we're making sure the time that we spend now is time used wisely. With that said, I want everybody, all the queens, to go around the room and introduce themselves. So just state your name, give like 30 seconds of what you do for the world. Like I said, your lighthouse to the world, or what you do. And say something that, okay, I'm going to change this a little bit, and give one thing about what you don't like about time management. How's that? We'll just dig into that real quick. So let's start with Mrs. Shelley.
Queen awesome. Shelley. My name is Shelley Piaggio, and I'm a business strategist. Right now, the thing I'm most excited about is a new social impact banking platform that lets people double their buying power. You can literally spend some of the same dollars twice. I have a heart to help people with their finances, with money, becoming financially secure. and having streams of income that come in whether you're working or not. The thing I dislike about time management is that not everybody manages their time. It's a non-renewable resource. We don't get it back once we spend it, invest it, waste it. And so sometimes people who don't manage their time may be inadvertently wasting my time, which I treasure.
See, I know we're going to dig a little deep into that because Shelly already told me she has some tips. She's been waiting for this topic that we were going to talk about. So I know you have some goodies for us and some golden nuggets. And I'm like, thank you for, like I said, we're hitting the other side of it. So thank you for expressing that. Okay, Miss Gloria, welcome, lady. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. Thank you for having this wonderful program. So I am Gloria Grace Rand. I'm a holistic business guide and energy healers, helping female entrepreneurs to really have their best lives and their best business and to be able to thrive in all aspects. And in particular, I love helping women who've gone through some type of in particular trauma, like growing up with an alcoholic parent, which is something that I did and have been able to kind of overcome that. And so that's what I'm all about, helping people do that through love, really, self-love. And this, it was interesting. So what don't I like about time management? And the first thing that came to my mind was, I just don't like to do it. But I know it's a necessity, and I'm just going to be candid. I'm not always the greatest at managing my time, but I do, when I do it and I'm diligent about it, it's so good because I really do get a lot more done. So I think maybe I don't like the term management. Maybe that's what it is I don't like about it. I'm a little rebel, I think.
I think there's a rebel in you. You know what, Gloria, I can understand that because I think I have that problem with it. I try to change it up because that management part gets kind of, and it gets me stuck. So thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for saying that. So I'm going to go to Miss Karen, Queen Karen.
Hey, thanks so much. This is so much fun. I love the diamond perspective. And yes, I'm Karen Stultz. I am the creator of the Awesome Life Success System. I'm an awesome life success engineer for online entrepreneurial leaders who really want to move forward, but they have blocks. There's some sort of something keeping them. And what I have discovered is most likely it is a generational trauma or block that is keeping you from moving forward to having the awesome life that you so desire. So I help you get rid of that and move forward to create the awesome life that is your birthright. It is your birthright to enjoy life, to be prosperous, and to feel free. And the thing about time management, like Gloria, I'm not always great with time. Howsoever, when I do really focus on it, which I'm doing more and more, it's part of my awesome life, I do get a whole lot more done. And I also agree that time is our only non-renewable resource. What we need to do is recognize what is important for us, but that's getting ahead, isn't it? So, and
I know you're ready. Karen. Hold back just a little bit.
All right, hold back.
I know. So thank you, Queen Karen, for that. And we're going to get more in detail of what you're talking about. And I want to get to the next queen in line, Miss Jacqueline.
Hi. I love this topic, and I am the founder of the Cosmic Light Academy. I work with cultural creatives. I've done everything from coaching with getting awards from T. Harv Eker and Peak Potentials, did that for 10 years part-time. But I started my first training center in 1982. So I've been doing this a long time. And time, in fact, I have a program called Time Mastery Beyond Time Management. So I specialize in training people, human potential, training people to use their intuition. And that's creativity. And to get through their day with a bit of flexibility and flow, as they are getting their tasks accomplished or having other people do the tasks for them. It's a pretty magical thing when you start using your intuition and choosing what your priorities are at that moment as you get through the day instead of being stuck to certain agendas.
Awesome. And what do you did you say what you kind of don't like about?
What I don't like is well, when things get messed up and we have specific appointments and they don't show up on time. It's I know it happens, but on one level it's a little disrespectful to the other person. But on the other side, usually when I'm in tune and things are delayed, it just works out perfectly. Somebody's 10 minutes late and I get that 10 minutes and it's just perfect. So there is that flow and that balance.
Yeah, I like how you brought that out. And I know you're going to talk a little bit about that in our conversation, because I always say, is there somebody running late or something like that? I don't say, oh my God, I take the time to say, well, they're running late, because you never know. You got to give people grace. You don't know what's going on. I find something else to do. Before I didn't used to do that. Now I'm like, oh, this could be like 2 minutes to finish this up. So I'm really still managing that time, even though you're waiting on somebody else. So
I think the respectful thing to do is just shoot off a text. I'm stuck in traffic. I'll be there in 15. I'll be there in 10. That does it for me, because it gives me the flexibility.
The flexibility, to do something else while you're waiting for them.
Exactly.
Yes. So thank you so much, Queen. And now Miss Queen Christina.
Hey, ladies. Hey. Always excited to be on this panel on the Diamond Perspective. My name is Christina Shanti. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a pastor. I'm an executive copywriter and the host of the show Harvest and Beyond. Time management. What I don't like is that I can't control time. That's just me. But at the same time, I know that time is in God's hands. So all I need to do is focus on being a good steward of my time. So that's my take on time management.
Love it, Queen. And you're right. You can't control time, right? I mean, after you get kind of frustrated for a while, you'll be like, dang, I didn't get that done. And you'll be like, you know what? I can't control it anyway. Let me make some changes or tweaks or whatever. Or maybe at that time, like Jacqueline said, maybe it was time to do something it was meant to be. So you never know that flow in your life and how it's going. So you got to respect that. So America's Superma.
Good evening. And thank you guys so much for your patience. I tell you, duty calls all the time. So I had a phone call, but I am glad to be here. I think this is an important conversation because I love what was said about, we really can't control time. For me, I think it's about understanding with the time that you have and being a steward of your time, what are your priorities? And once I was able to really kind of establish that, that's when things changed for me because you realize that you only have so much time in a day. And so what are the things that you need to get done? And in doing those things, are there ways that you can delegate, collaborate with other people so that you can compound time? So I think it's really having strategies around what are the most important things, the non-negotiables that you need to have done, and then factoring in everything else in the time that you have remaining.
Yes. And did you state what you don't like about time management?
Okay, I didn't hear that. What I don't like about it is, I feel like it's a double-edged sword. It either goes fast or it goes slow, depending on what it is that you're doing. If you're doing something that you really don't enjoy, it seems like it's taking forever. If you're doing something you love, it's like, there's not enough of it. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's like a mic drop, what you just said about, either you're going to love it because you love what you do, or you're going to be like, oh my God, well, come on. It's just like 1 minute move. It's like, dang, now 2 minutes. I think I do that at work during the day. But anyway, that's another whole topic. But yeah, like you said, it's a two-inch store on both sides. So I want to take, okay, now that we're talking about time, okay, I'm going to be using this time a lot in this conversation. So I want to take out the time to make sure that we take time out to make sure we put out a link for everybody to watch this show, because I want everybody to see, everybody hear the perspective of these queens when we're talking about this topic. So I did share the link inside the private chat here, and I'm going to share the link outside too. So let's just take that time there. And while we're taking the time to share out this wonderful show, I want to play a little video regarding just some things to think about, some tips before we get into a conversation about time management. So here we go. We'll be right back. Okay, so there's just some tips there. I love the last one where it's saying to minimize your multitasking, which I used to love that word. And now I've learned throughout my years of being on this earth, 55 years to be exact, that multitasking is not sometimes a good thing. Sometimes you need to concentrate and focus on that one project, and then maybe you'll get it done instead of, unless the multitask is with that one project. That's a whole nother show. But yeah, when I said multitasking, I don't know if you've seen on the video, the lady was on the phone writing, and then there was in the background, real faded, people were just spinning and having some time with themselves and so that's important. That's important. So with that said, we have some people. People are coming online saying hello to us. We got Patty. Hey, Patty. Oh, she's here, Supermom. Yes, I know she's here. And we have Dr. Who's hello. Okay. So a lot of fans are coming on. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. So I want to make sure that, like I said, so just to let the people out there know that's not on the panel, that's out there listening to us, you're a part of this group too. So please, in the comments, put your thoughts, put your tips, ask us questions. That's what we're here for. These are panel, these are experts. So let's start with the balancing act. Okay. Balancing act, as we all know, we got to balance our time. We need to make sure that, and I always tell people, okay, again, here we go. It seems like there's more time trying to balance than trying to do the actual thing, right? So I want to ask the question to our wonderful queens. And how do you balance personal and professional priorities for effective time management? So how do you do that? And the main word there that I want you all to think about is priorities, because that's a key word in that whole question. So let's start with whoever wants to go first. And I'm gonna start choosing people if I don't hear.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I love this concept because first, I really don't believe in balance. I think that really was something that was to my detriment, believing that I could balance all these different facets of my life. And I've learned that for me, I prefer harmony. I think of it like an orchestra where you have all the different instruments that are playing in harmony with one another. I think if you're balancing, I think of a teeter-totter, and if it's balanced, no one's going anywhere. It's just they're not moving and idle, right? And so I think it is finding a way that you can cross pollinate everything, so that, you can be all of who you are to every situation. That's just been something for me that's been a game changer. In terms of my business, my children are part of my brand. So I never really feel like, oh my gosh, I got to do this. And I can't include them. I've got to always try to pretend to be this perfect parent on camera or things like that. It just gives me the freedom to be who I am wherever I show up. And I think that's, for me, for the people that I serve, that's more important than trying to get everything right. Because, you know, there's so many things that are outside of our control, from tech issues to weather. I mean, we never know what we're going to be faced with. So I think being able to cross pollinate that is one of the things that I believe is very important in order to get that harmony. And, I include my kids in my goals. So if there's something that I want to achieve, then I attach something that is meaningful to them so that they can hold me accountable, right? Mom, how are you doing with that goal? Because they have some invested interest. It's going to be something that they are getting down the road as well. So that would be my thought on it.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like how you basically said, I was talking about priorities. So you mentioned, the balance, but you're prioritizing where you see. And I like how you fit in your family and people that are in your world, because that's a part of not just your brand, but just you in general. So I love that cross-pollination. I like that phase. Anybody else want to add to what America Supermom, or have something else, Shelley?
Yeah. Well, what I do is I time block and I schedule everything. So, and I separate my time into 3 types of time. My results time, which is my income producing activities, my remodel time, which is my personal development, spiritual development, those kind of things, and my relationships. And then I set appointments and color code them on my Google Calendar with reminders, such and such is coming up. But I also will schedule me time, like take a hot bath time. It's an appointment in my calendar, because I don't necessarily do that if I don't schedule it like it's an appointment. So I time block, I schedule it, I track it to see what percentage of my day is spent in what, because it's really easy to overload on something some days, and some days the way the day is, it's just built in. But I find that when I do that, I can have a really balanced life, and my high priority tasks are more likely to get done.
I love it. I love it. I love, you mentioned what I said in the video about time blocking. And I just, I'm being vulnerable right here. I just started that this year, really honing in on that time blocking more. In fact, just a few weeks ago, I got with somebody to help me with my Google Calendar and said, okay, I need help. And I know some people like, Barbara, just look at YouTube and it will show you. But I'm like, no, I need somebody to walk me through it, of what they do. Like Shelley, she's really good at that. See, you find people that are good at things and come together. That's another tip for everybody. And so now, one minute I wasn't attached to Google Calendar. Now that's my whole thing, is everything's on there, color coded, like you said. I was like, oh my God, now I feel like I can't live without it. I was like, that's good. So, but I'm glad you said about that time blocking. So that's a good tip for us, so everybody can talk about. Anybody else want to add to that?
Oh, yes, I've got a good. When we're blocking things in, make sure that you schedule in follow-up time. I had a client that scheduled an hour to 90 minutes every day at the end of the day to do her follow-up. How many times do we go to a conference? We get all kinds of contacts and we don't schedule the follow-up time, and it just kind of goes, or we get overwhelmed. So really, really critical.
That was critical. I love that, because what they said, it's all in the follow-up when you're in business. And if you're not following up, then you're losing clients and you're losing connections.
Right.
Yeah, Got to put that on the calendar too. That's a good point. Love it. Now, Shelly, before we go to anybody else, Shelly, I know you wanted to wrap up something. I just want to make sure I get back to you.
I was going to say Google Calendar is a virtual assistant. Like literally it, and if you don't like Google Calendar, find something else. But it literally functions as a virtual assistant for me. So use the tech whenever you can. I've started using AI for social media posts. What a time saver. Like, embrace the technology. Even if you don't like tech, like what Barbara's doing, go find somebody whose age starts with a 1 or a 2, and they'll be happy to help you do it. And then you can, the less time you're spending on just the DMO and the grind, the more time we have for those things that fill us up and give us fulfillment and joy.
Yes. Thank you, Shelly. You're right. 1 or 2. She's right. So anybody else want to just about the balance or the prioritize? Like I said, the biggest word in the question I asked was, what's your priority? So, Laura?
I wanted to mention a couple things. There's one concept that I have is that there are a few things in my day that are non-negotiables that I have to get in, like meditation in the morning and doing some spiritual reading and exercise. And so, because if I don't do those, then my whole day gets messed up. So I make sure that there's a few things that I set aside as non-negotiables. And of course, I do love Google Calendar too. I do all the time blocking as well. But the other thing I wanted to mention too is the importance of setting boundaries. And especially I think that comes in with like the family and managing your business or your professional life as well, is knowing when to say no and to say, I can't do this right now. I mean, this was, going back a couple of years when we were all working from home and my husband was working from home, and there would be times where he would be, like knocking on my door and saying, "Oh, can you come look at this video?" And I'm like, "Honey, no, I'm sorry. This is my work time. I need to be able to do this." And so being able to let people know that, I'm not available during these hours, and then other times that I am available, but also then giving yourself grace sometimes when life happens and you have to be flexible. But if you can have the boundaries set up first, then at least you've got that as a structure to start with, and then you can always make some allowances if you need to.
Yes, I love you said, see, no and boundaries. That's what that was just like bing, 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 bing in my head. I'm a type of person. Yes, I'm still getting over it. I need to, how when they say when you're alcoholic, you go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Well, I need to go to No Anonymous. Okay, Barbara, learn how to say no. And I have a witness on this panel right now that gets me on that all the time. It is Queen Pastor Christina. And I'm learning. It's going little, but it's there. And you're that's so right, Gloria, is that because then you start not loving on you anymore. And that's what I was told. So thank you for bringing that out. Boundaries are really important. So before we get into some other, because I know our other queens have some other things to do, we have some sponsors. So we have a sponsor, Help Heal Humanity, and they are helping wonderful, wonderful people globally, especially children that are in need of food and need of education. So we just want to do a quick little sponsorship for them, and we will be right back.
My name is Serena Buffalino. I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. My career started off as a special education teacher. When my students found out that there were kids in this world that did not have the right to go to school, inspired them. The concept behind the Haiti School Building Project was a small handful of youth in Toronto would help a small handful of youth here in Haiti. The Haiti School Building Project finally opened up last year, September 2018. It has successfully been running for 7 months now, and what I have seen is nothing shy of beautiful. One person with the support of others can literally transform the planet.
Wonderful. So I just want to thank our sponsor, Help Heal Humanity, Serena Buffalino, the lady that you heard that was talking in the video. She is the founder and president of it. I am part of their board as well. Been with them for 2 years. They've been in for 8 years. And I'm telling you, amazing things are happening with those children. And if you want to, give not just the money, but your time, like we're talking about time. See, we'll say a lot of time tonight. It's www.helphealhumanity.org. And we would love to have you in any capacity that you can take your time on that. So with that scheduled, let's go back to our queens here. And I haven't heard from, let's see, who haven't I heard from? I'm going to pick on you. I see somebody take themselves off of mute. 2 people. Who wants to go first, Karen or Christina? It's a race.
Hey, all right. I'm in. I got to get ahead here. We don't have time, right? I've gotten a whole new perspective on time because, like I was saying earlier, it is our only non-renewable resource. So in order to make it work best for us, we need to know what we want to do. As you were saying, as the lovely queens were saying, it is about priorities. What is important to you? What is your intention when you are making a decision to do something? What is your intention when you block out time on the Google Calendar? And being really feeling good with that. Now, for me, I find that time just works beautifully when I wake up in the morning and before I even get out of bed, I think about my day and say, all right, what is it that I would like to get accomplished today? With the intention that I want to feel good, feel accomplished, and feel the love in everything I do. So what do I need to do today to make all those things happen and move forward in my business as well? And oh, yeah, I get to be on the Diamond Perspective tonight. All right. So I can build myself up that way. It is, and like you say, setting the boundaries. So I'm going to be on the Diamond Perspective tonight. So my husband, you're on your own for dinner. You're on your own for whatever. Bye. Do not come in. And so setting the boundaries to a point, feeling good about what it is. And like America's Supermom said, balance? No, balance is boring. There is no such thing. But it is what is important at this moment in time that you want to get accomplished and feel good doing it. I know in the past, spirit comes in, and if we are meant to accomplish something, we'll have the time to do it. Time can slow right down if we are meant to accomplish it. Things just happen. And like I said, going into a story about, I wasn't sure if my son should move to England, but he wanted to go. Okay, fine and dandy. Well, I wanted his last day here in the States to be filled with everything that would make him feel good and remember us, of course, in Maine. And consequently, I had forgotten about rush hour traffic in Boston and getting to the airport at dead stop. And finally, I just had to let go and say, take that deep breath and ask, if you are meant to go to England, we'll get there in time. We were there 20 minutes before the plane left. He's been in England for the last 16 years.
Wow.
But it's all time. and honoring and recognizing, and rather than getting stressed of, I don't have enough time, I can't do this, I need that, just, all right, what are the other possibilities? And allow. It just makes things feel so much better.
Well, Karen, I want to say two things. First of all, I thank your husband for letting you have this time on the Diamond Factor Perspective show. So give him some kudos. And second, intention. You mentioned about intentions, and real quickly, because I need to get to Jacqueline and Mrs. Christina, because I want them to say some things. But I'm part of another little group, accountability group, and there's like 7 of us. So everybody has their different ways of how they look at their time, like you said, intention. So there's one person in the group, very anal in a good way, because that could be in a bad way too, but very anal to the point of, we have a Facebook group. Every day he writes out, it's almost like a page, like a book almost, like of what his intentions are, what he's working on, what he got done yesterday, and then he has it. And this was beautiful. So I was like, ooh, I like that. Maybe I should do something like that. So I started. So me and him was like doing it together. Then after maybe 10 days, Barbara dropped off of that. And the coach in the coachability Facebook said, Barbara, I noticed you don't do those things like Mike was doing. You stopped that. I said, you know why? You know why I stopped that? First of all, why are you watching me so closely? He said, because it's accountability group, Barbara. I said, okay, I'll give you that. Second, I said, I'm going to tell you the why. Because I was taking more time out to make sure that I was doing this page thing to put into the group. And that was taking me 20 to 30 minutes. And I was thinking, wait a minute. I'm taking more time out of this and I'm not getting nothing done with what I need to do. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you have to say, okay, this might work for one person. It might have to work differently for somebody else. And then that's going back to the intention and what you're really trying to accomplish. I stopped, and you know what? I'm fulfilling that time that I was taking 30 minutes to put together a timetable of what I was doing for time. Now, does that make any kind of sense? I mean, so selling that story and what we're talking about now about being intentional, prioritizing, blocking, what everybody's saying, this all wraps up into that. So I want to hear from Miss Christina. I know she has some golden nuggets there.
Oh, okay. Ladies, everything that everyone has shared has just been awesome nuggets. I'm so getting ready to put that in my repertoire of words. America Supermom, cross-pollinate. You got me thinking about that one right there when it comes to time management. But I have to speak from the perspective of where I am in life and where it comes to time management. I homeschooled my children for 12 years. They're now in university, graduated university. I've co-pastored a church with my husband. I've been a chancellor of a school. So my time management skills have been on par. But in this season of my life, time management, I look at differently because of health changes and well-being. And that's a lot of times nobody tells you about that. When your health affects your time management. I'm one who keeps 3 calendars plus a digital calendar. I have executive assistants. So all of that. But in this season, when menopause hit, and it brought about a physical change. It brought about emotional changes. It went to the hot flashes, the mood swings, the sleepless nights, and so forth and so forth and so forth. But nobody talks about when your health affects your time. And what I found in this season, a word for me works with time management, and that's grace. To give yourself grace. Give yourself grace with time. And that's why in the beginning, when I said about when you can't control time, you can't control when the hot flash is going to hit and you've got somewhere you got to be, but you hot and you like, wait a minute, y'all don't understand right now. I need to get this together right here, but I'm on somebody else's time schedule. Or when you're up all night long and then you've got to stay up. So for me, in this season, and when you said with the question in the beginning, you said that priority, for me, the priority is to give myself grace in this season of time management. Because for the first time, I was like, wait a minute. I've always been one, and I'm going to use this word, who's been in control, who's had all her calendars right, who uses all the different highlighters for all the different things and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But when life begins to life and you can't control time because of what's going on with your own body. So for me, it's time and grace go hand in hand.
Yes, another mic drop. I like that. I like the whole thing you said, Queen, and about grace and time, because we're forever changing. That's just part of life. And we have to give ourselves some grace. Even if somebody don't give you the grace, you have to give yourself grace.
Give yourself grace.
Yeah. When I was 20, 30, I could do a whole bunch of stuff. Now I'm in my 50s, not so much. Not saying I don't want to do it, but then I had to look at myself and say, okay, wait a minute now, Barbara. You said about the hot flashes. Yeah, I'm in that family. And a lot of other things. So you have to make sure that you, like you said, give that grace and be open to the changes in your life. So Pastor Christina, you want to say another thing?
Oh, I was just saying, and I just think this is a great conversation, because a lot of people, we always talk about, just managing the time, having the calendars and everything else. But let's talk about when life is lifing. And I love what America Supermom said. And it's sometimes that balance that you're trying to have, you got to understand there's going to be some curveballs, but give yourself grace. But also be cognitive of what's going on in other people's lives that are connected to you. And sometimes they may not show up on time. They may not be able to send that text message to say, I'm running late or something happens, but life has life. Give them grace also. So.
Yeah, thank you for that last part of it, because I didn't get no grace last week when I was late, like 5 minutes late, and somebody told me, excuse me, Barbara, that's your integrity. I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute. Don't tell my integrity. I didn't mean that. And, there was
that's the thing about it. It's when it's people, their character, they're disciplined, and something's off. The time is off or something. We got to extend grace to each other.
Yeah. So the person that I'm talking about, stay more grace to me. So yes, basically. And like I said, you said, Queen, wonderful, wonderful. Jacqueline, I know I need to hear from you, lady.
Well, in terms of my schedule and keeping with it, I love my work, and so my work is play, even though sometimes it's challenging. And so finding the work play personal balance, everything interweaves. So the key is to really trust, like when new things come up, and sometimes I'll have things on the calendar and an opportunity to go play will come up, and I'll go, that sounds like good, I'm going to take off. But if you're working for a company, it's not always that easy to do that. So finding the empowerment, the personal empowerment, and when challenges come in that completely take me off, like a tech problem comes up and it's like, wait a minute, I have a schedule, I have to blah, blah. I've trained myself to constantly ask immediately, what's the gift? There's a gift here. I'm waiting for it. I'm expecting it. It's going to happen. And it helps me raise my mood and reduce the angst or the anger or the frustration, because I'm letting it go, but I'm still dealing with it, trusting that there's divine intervention happening, and for whatever reason, this is coming into my life. So focusing on the end result in mind, the bigger picture, once a month, no matter where you're working or not working, just working with your time as an individual. Look at your life purpose or the business purpose, the soul mission, and constantly, at least once a month, go back and realign with that and get it back into your heart. Train yourself to anything that comes to you, that happens to you, happens for you as a gift. So it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond in every way. So trust that.
Oh, see, that's a whole nother show. I like that. I got to put that on the side. It's not how it's how you respond or react to something.
Oh,
That's a whole nother, yes.
one other real quick thing. This is my favorite tool. It's a pendulum, and I went into a corporate 100 corporation as a time to get them over a major crunch they were having, and I taught all the executives how to use this for forecasting for their departments. Fortune 100 company. My coach said, you can't go into a corporation swinging a pendulum. It's too Harry Potter. And I said, well, that's how I forecast. That's how I teach people. So if you have a list of things to do, where do you start? Do you start at the top of the list? No, don't do that. At the beginning of your time to do the list, just do something to say which is the priority. Should I make the calls now or at the end of the day? Do I start at the top or do I go start with the fourth one down? And so by starting to follow your intuition, and this is just a tool, it's a natural biofeedback device, your intuition will guide you and help you save time by being the right place at the right time, making the calls, making the follow-up at the right time, so the person has the information when you need it, when you call them.
Queen, I was thinking about what you said about where to start, because I know a lot of times in business part of it, where you talk about the phone calls and emails and where do you start, a lot of people like to do the easy stuff first. They be like, yeah, let me get all the easy stuff out, and then I'll deal with the more stuff that's going to take more time. And I used to feel the same way, but now I switched it. Because I found out the reason why I'm not trying to do the stuff that's taking more time is because it's probably something I don't want to do. It's something I got to research. It's something I got to deal with. And I'm pushing it to the side. And sometimes you can keep pushing things to the side where now it's becoming more, the priority has gone up higher because you kept pushing to the side because you know it's going to take more time, more energy, more research. So
okay, just really quickly. Once I was ignoring, I was like, why am I wasting this time? Get to work. I can't get myself to focus. What's this? This was years ago. What's this? Oh, it's a email spam box. What's that? And I click on it, and there are two things in there. I never saw that before. There are two things there. One was an email from a guy named Dr. Stanley Krippner, one of the top researchers worldwide in metaphysics, which was one of my major fields. And the email was about, we found you when we want to put you in our book. and it was like, oh my God. So I made the phone call, and I had to make a bunch of phone calls that day. And the person who I spoke with was the key to somebody that was like the second in line of Mind Valley. And it just opened up an entire new priority list for me. They gave me some contacts, and it completely put me on fire in terms of, wow, exciting. And that's where I went. So sometimes when you're ignoring things, just kind of go with the flow, but find the balance.
Yes, definitely. Because you might have missed out on something like that. You never know. Like if you open the email, you've been putting the email to the side, and all of a sudden, let me open this email. You just won $10,000. Oh my God, I should have opened that email a long time ago. Dang it, I pushed it to the side. But yeah, Queen. So thank you, Gloria, too, because eat that frog first. I hear that all the time about eating the frog first. And you know what? I thought about that, Gloria. I don't really like frogs. They don't look good. They look nasty, slimy. And I said, can it be a cupcake? And then somebody told me, but Barbara, that's too easy. The cupcake's easy to you. We got to put something that you really, that's like, ugh, so you could take care of that first. I said, oh, see, I had to learn the concept. So yes, eat the frog first.
Some cooking makes frog into a delicacy.
I know. And I'm like, ugh. No, can't eat that. Not me, but anybody else. So with our time here, I want to make sure that we get around to the queens, because I want to talk about any lasting thoughts for people. Now, this is something, if you want to leave a tip for somebody, something that may be a small, short, because we got to make it with time, of something that they can learn from. And then while you're doing that, make sure that you tell them how they can contact you. Because to let everybody know, this is not just, Diamond Perspective, but I also let these wonderful queens, I want you to connect with them. They all have a different service and product, or they're doing something for the world for people. And I want you to really, tune in if you see somebody that's could help you. So I want to start with America's Supermom first, and then we'll just go around.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Barbara. And it's been a pleasure serving on the panel and all the great ideas that everybody has shared. I think the main thing is being honest with yourself. I love what Christina was saying about the season that she's in. When we're able to be honest about what's really happening in our lives, we can be able to navigate and pivot and change accordingly. And I think, as we do evolve, things are going to change with our priorities, just with our skills and talents. And we should always be growing. So we should always be learning. And we're learning at different paces and things of that nature. So that's what I would remind everybody, is just to be honest with yourself so that you can find out what's best for you at that particular time. But again, thank you so much for having me. I am pretty much everywhere on social media. I am a media strategist. I'm a producer of a channel on Zandra TV Network, and I'm currently looking for show hosts who would like to put their content on the network. So that's something that I'm excited about in 2024. And again, just a pleasure to be here with everybody.
Yes, thank you, America Supermom. Just real quickly, again, wish America Supermom a belated happy birthday. It was her birthday yesterday. And thank you for selling another wonderful year of the Queen, America Supermom, in this world. And you are doing it. And I appreciate you being on part of the panel and a part of being in my life. So thank you. So now we're going to go to Mrs. Karen, Queen Karen.
Hey, I tell you, time and being on this panel has been absolutely wonderful, but I have to disagree. Don't eat the frog first. Ask somebody else to eat the frog, because it might be their cupcake. Wrap yourself. The last thing I do is wrap myself up. My whole outfit is nothing but grace and ease.
Wow.
Make it grace and ease, and just love whatever you are doing. And if it is too much, find somebody else, because it will be their cupcake. It's not yours. So don't do it. Don't waste your time. And that's so you can reach out to me. I would love to have a conversation with anyone that might like to have a conversation at KarenStultz.com/let's talk.
Awesome. See, I can still get my cupcake. Thank you, Karen, for explaining it.
You got permission.
Thank you. Give someone else that. So I'm going to go to Miss Jacqueline.
Any task that you start to do, right before you do it, start with the end result in mind, and especially the emotional end result that you're looking for. So whether it be starting your day, or starting your phone call list, or follow-up, or starting a drive, or picking up the kids, whatever it might be, take a moment, take a deep breath, relax, start with the end result in mind, put a smile on your face, and you're good. I can be reached, it's on the picture, through intuitionpower.com. My web presence is being redone over the next 6 weeks, but it still is functioning.
Awesome. Thank you, Queen, so much. And Miss Queen Christina.
Hey, first of all, thank you, Barbara, for inviting me on the show this evening. And it has been a blessing to share this panel with you, distinguished, beautiful ladies. And what I want to leave last regarding time is for me and those believers, acknowledge God with your time. Be a good steward with your time. Ask the Holy Spirit to direct you with your calendars, with your time, your appointments, with everything. And at the end of the day, give yourself grace with the time that God has allotted you with. You can find me on all social media platforms. Christina Shanti. I'm the host of Harvest and Beyond, where we're planting seeds, we're harvesting them, and guess what? we're going to grow beyond them. You all have a blessed night.
Thank you. Thank you, Queen Christina and Miss Queen Gloria.
Well, as everyone said, thank you so much for having this. This is a very timely subject, and I'm glad we were able to share some lots of good nuggets. And I would say my last one, and this is speaking as someone who spends a lot of time behind her computer and can sometimes forget to stand up once in a while, is to set a timer, whether it's on your computer or on your phone. I love working in like either 30-minute bursts, sometimes as long as 50 minutes, but definitely even just 30 minutes. And then I can just get up and stretch a little bit and then get back to business. So that's my last tip for that. And you can, I'm on social media. You can reach me, Gloria Grace Rand. My website is gloriarand.com. And I also have a podcast too called Live, Love, Engage. So you're welcome to check that out as well.
I love it. And see, with Gloria, she hasn't been on for a while. I'm so glad to see you tonight because, as you know, a lot of people say, Gloria, and what's saying, give people grace. So, Gloria, grace. Yes. It works hand in hand. Thank you, Queen. And Queen Shelley.
Again, thank you, Barbara, for inviting me to be on. And thank you to the rest of the panelists. I've got some good notes from the things that you're saying and a lot of great takeaways. One thing I didn't hear discussed was opportunity cost. The cost of doing A is I can't do B. I can't, so what we're investing our time in, what's the opportunity cost? If I do this, then I can't do something else. It's a way that helps me factor in. And I love, praying about how you use your time, go to the Holy Spirit. And that's a piece of it. So just, good stuff. I have a ton more, but we're out of time.
See, that's what happens. How can they contact you, Queen, real quickly?
Oh, I am on social media as Shelly Piaggio or some incarnation of Shelly Piaggio. Stay awesome. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. I'm trying to be everywhere. And, that's, or reach out shellypiaggio@gmail.com. I'd love to have a conversation with anyone who wants to know more or find out how to, especially just reach out.
That's
I'm
right?
going to commercial, and I think that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to add value. Done.
Yes, and reach out, like you said, reach out, not just to only Queen Shelley, but all the queens on the panel. I want to thank you, and I totally adore each and every one of you. I honor you, and I really appreciate you coming on the Diamond Perspective Show. Like I said, this is going to be bigger. Just putting that out there. I know, I feel it. And I just want people to know that we come on the first Thursday of every month. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, this is not the first Thursday. Well, what did we say earlier? Things happen. Life happens. But I didn't want to miss this month because we only come once a month right now. We're coming back January 4th. Yes, the beginning of the first week of January. And the topic will be how to build that personal brand. What are you doing to build your brand? And just give you a little hint. I always throw a little hint out there for people so they can think before we come back. Branding is not just your logos and your websites. Branding is you. So put that right here. And let's have that conversation in January with another wonderful panel that's coming on. So again, thank you, ladies, so much. Please reach out to these wonderful queens. Always remember that you have a diamond in you. Let it shine for others because your gift is not only grounded in you to make you be the person you are, but your gift helps other people out there. And that's what I call the Diamond Factor Network. Take care and see you next month. And happy holidays.
Thanks, Barbara.
Thank